Hey, coronavirus quarantine teens. My name is Barish-Stern, and I'm an editor, I'm an author, and I'm a publisher. And I'm here to tell you there are ways that you can stay at home and stay safe and not go stir crazy. So all you have to do is stick with me through this entire video, which really isn't very long, and I've got some great ideas for you. And at the same time, if you stay with me all the way to the end, I will tell you how to get your free sci-fi fantasy superhero book just for listening. No obligation, so just hang in there and stay with me, and we'll get to that part real soon. So, school is out, right? That should be great. Maybe not by now. Maybe you're at a point of saying, gee, I'd almost rather go back to school. You miss your friends, you miss being out. It isn't as much fun as you really thought it would be. But maybe I can give you some ideas for things that might occupy your time and be, even though they're different, maybe something really interesting and fun to do. So let's see what I can introduce you to. So, this is what I'm talking about. These are my friends. Now remember, in the very first slide, I introduced myself as the creator of The Power of Three. Well, here they are. This is Mrs. I Wanna Be Writer, Ms. Edie Tor, and Mr. I Am Publisher. So they are the writer, the editor, and the publisher. Now, they were invented by me to introduce my system of writing, and it is a proven system. I have used it for almost 22 years with writers that I have worked with, and I want to introduce it to you. Now, you might wonder, why am I talking about writing, and where does the word fun come into this? Well, it's an interactive method that I use to write a superhero book, but more about my superheroes later. Right now, just stick with me to the next slide and you'll start to see what I'm talking about. So here you are. You're sitting home, getting kind of bored day after day. Yeah, you've got your movies, your TV, your video games, your iTunes, YouTube, Skype, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Reddit, and probably a million other things that I've missed. But maybe sometimes you start to daydream. You start to think about adventures, stories. Well, I bet it's not about being back at school, but it's about your friends or things maybe you'd like to be doing instead of just sitting at home. And maybe some of these adventures are really neat, because I know that you have great imaginations, and you could be cooking up some of those great stories that you never really have the time to pay attention to. That's how great writers are born. They have these stories in their heads, and every once in a while they find the time to pay attention to those stories. Well, I'm going to tell you that now is the time. Pay attention to those stories, and let's see what we can get to happen. Now, over the years that I have worked with writers, they've been young, they've been old, there have been people who've never written anything and people who've written a lot of books. But the one thing that's been different is when I've introduced them to my method. They have found that their writing not only was fun, but that it was organized, and that they could take that one idea and turn it into a published story. So that's what I'd like to introduce to you. It is a 12-step, easy-to-follow method. And you know why I know it's easy to follow? Because that's how I wrote my first book, my superhero story. Now, fun and interactive are not usually words that people use when they're talking about writing. But I wanted it to be fun because I work with a lot of teens and a lot of people that have never written before. And when you make it too difficult, they start and they stop, or they write it and they put it in a bottom drawer. So I wanted to make it easy to follow, and I wanted to make it something that you could follow along with. So I had to use it first and create it and prove that it works. And that's exactly what I've done. And just to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about, not only have I worked with young people, but I started writing when I was 13 years old. I had written stories just because I was the kind of kid that felt nobody listened to me. So if I could write down what I was feeling, at least I could get it down on paper and express myself. Well, all of a sudden, people wanted to read what I was writing. And that's how I got started as a writer. Well, recently I worked with 16-year-old Ruth Safola. She had never written a book before, but she had written a lot of stories. She had a friend who was having some issues with her sight, and so she decided she wanted to write a book for her. Never having written before, we worked together, and in a matter of months we wrote Seeing the Unseeable. And that's how easy it can be following this system. Now, what you write doesn't have to be for someone else. It could just be for yourself. But I know that your imaginations as teenagers are great. I know that you think of wonderful stories because that's the time when your imaginations are flowing. So I want to work with you and get you out of the doldrums of quarantine and into the colorful world of imagination. So how about it? Are you ready to take that step and work with me and my friends and accomplish something not only that you'll enjoy, but that you'll be proud of? Because so many people say when they get older, gee, I'd like to write a book. Or when they get really older, I wish I wrote that book. But I'm telling you that right now, while you're sitting home, you have a chance to write something really important. Even if you don't want to write a book, just write down your feelings. Write about what you're living through because this is history. And it may never come again in your lifetime, we hope. But it's an opportunity to gather your feelings. And to begin, it's as simple as visiting my website, goldenquillpress.com. And there, if you want to get that 12-step system, you can purchase How to Write Your Book from an Idea to Your Published Story. But maybe you're not really up to that. Maybe you're not interested in writing a book, and maybe you're not ready to put down your feelings. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to make you another offer. How about we talk? I am very interested in helping you if you're interested in writing, and I will offer you a personalized tutoring service. So I will give you a consultation for free just because you've listened to this video. If that is of interest to you, you can email me at info, I-N-F-O, at golden, G-O-L-D-E-N, quill, Q-U-I-L-L, press, P-R-E-S-S.com, and put in the subject line, Tutoring Quarantine. And I'll be more than happy to set up a schedule with you where I can just talk to you, free of charge, no obligation. We can discuss your ideas and how you can get started writing. Okay, now, you thought I forgot about the free book. Well, I didn't, because I want you to be able to see how I wrote my sci-fi fantasy superhero trilogy called Code 47 to Brevforce. I used the methods that I put down in my How to Write Your Book. They are proven not only by me, but by so many people who have used the book to write and finish their stories. And that's what I want to offer you. You will get the first book of Code 47 to Brevforce for free just for having listened to this program. Okay, so here's an example of what you will see in How to Write Your Book and why I feel that the program that I've set up is so great, because each lesson shows how I wrote BrevForce, how I handled the topics, and best of all, how you could follow it if you wanted to write. Okay, so here we go. Better than that, I am also going to give you that ebook for free. Remember, we talked about it. Just because you've listened to this video, there's nothing to buy, nothing to do, just so you can see how I wrote this book. All you have to do is email me. But before you decide to do that, remember, if you do want to write your book and you'd like the help from my book, How to Write Your Book, you can get it again at www.goldenquillpress.com, or it's also available at Amazon if you would like. That information is also on my website of how to get it through Amazon. Or if you'd like to talk to me, you know I'm offering that free consultation, so that's still available. So, remember, while you're quarantined, I am too. So become a quarantine and, like me, turn to writing and make these days the best that they can be. Now remember, in order to get your free book, here's what you need to do. Email info, I-N-F-O, at goldenquillpress.com, goldenquillpress.com, and say, I listened to your video to the last purple, remember purple, slide, and say, I want my free Brev e-book, and I will be more than happy to send that to you, and it will be my pleasure. Now, if you have ideas for books, you can write me also at that address, and we can share information. Any way you choose, I would be happy to work with you, to talk to you. And don't forget, anytime you're interested in writing, please feel free to contact me at goldenquillpress.com or at info@goldenquillpress.com. Any way you choose, whatever you like, please stay safe, stay full of ideas, write and share, and we can talk soon. I'd be more than happy to hear from you with all your ideas. Thank you again for listening. You have a great day. Bye-bye from Francine Barish-Stern and my 3 friends.